Hello everyone, I'm here today to do what I'm not terming a review because I don't know how I feel about this book, but I am terming a discussion on Joan Didion's Slouching Towards Bethlehem. This is the first Joan Didion I've ever read. I do not consider myself an expert on Joan Didion. If you're looking for that, you should probably go check out Ashley from Climb the Stacks because I know she loves Joan Didion. This is a collection of essays that was published in 1968. Joan Didion is a literary journalist mostly, but she writes in a wide variety of styles. You can find her memoirs, you can find essays like this, nonfiction essays, more journalistic type writings, and then she's also written fiction. A lot of people have probably heard of Play It As It Lays, which is a pretty famous novel by her. And I read this book this month, and I don't know how I feel about it, so I want to hash out some of my feelings about this book. So, the book is broken into 3 sections. The first section is called Lifestyles in the Golden Land, and those are mostly essays published in the 60s about California and her time spent in California and a lot of, countercultural revolutions and people she met there. I was not a huge fan of this section. I'm going to leave it at that for now. The second section is called Personals, and I loved these essays. She has one on keeping a notebook that was really fascinating, another one on self-respect, which totally blew my mind, and I love that section. The third section is called 7 Places of the Mind, and that's more literary journalism from her, but not set in California, kind of set in different places throughout the world. And I didn't like that section either. That actually was my least favorite, and I found myself towards the end of it just skimming because I was ready to be done with it. So, I don't know what I feel about this book. And I think it's because I had some pretty high expectations for it. I've heard a lot of people that I admire, both on BookTube and off of BookTube, talk about how much they love Joan Didion. And so I was really hoping to get into it. And I think the reason that I didn't love this book the way I expected to is because A, I had too many high expectations for it, and B, because I was just not interested in a lot of what she was writing about. I'm just not that interested in the counterculture in California in the 60s. And it's not because her writing's bad. I didn't not like this book because it's a bad book, which is what I'm having trouble with. It's a really good book. And her writing is absolutely amazing. Even in the preface, look at all those things I marked. That's a lot for me in one book. And even in the preface, I was reading it, and the last sentence of the preface, she writes, "That is one last thing to remember. Writers are always selling somebody out." And that sentence blew me away. And I was immediately like, oh, okay, I'm going to love this book. This book's going to be great because I kind of like that perspective on writing and how she wasn't glamorizing it. And she doesn't glamorize anything in this novel. She just kind of tells it like it is. It's very straightforward. And I liked that. And again, her on self-respect essay is absolutely incredible. Seriously, y'all, listen to this sentence. To have that sense of one's intrinsic worth, which constitutes self-respect, is potentially to have everything. The ability to discriminate, to love, and to remain indifferent. To lack it is to be locked within oneself, paradoxically incapable of either love or indifference. That was actually 2 sentences. But she's an amazing writer. She's a very fascinating person. And I know she writes in the preface that when she started doing a lot of this work and started writing a lot of the essays, especially on California, she was in a slump in her life and just had to get out of Dodge and go do something awesome. And I think one of the reasons I don't connect with Joan Didion is because I don't get that. I'm not like Joan Didion. And so reading her essays and getting inside of her head, I didn't feel any personal connection. I'm not the kind of person that's oh, I feel restless. I'm going to go interview a bunch of random people and talk to strangers about all these crazy things they're doing. Because I don't even like to leave my house to go to the grocery store. So, I mean, I want to talk about this book with people, and I don't think until I start engaging with other people and feeling them out, I don't think I'm going to be able to fully comprehend how I feel about this book. And that is basically all this video is about. It's about how I'm upset that I didn't love this book the way I wanted to love this book. And I just want to go back and reread it and like it. Don't you hate that? I hate it when that happens. But I gave the book 3 out of 5 stars altogether. The personal essays were amazing, so I'm definitely going to look more into her memoir called The Year of Magical Thinking, because I hear that's incredible. And I'm going to look more into her fiction, and I'm going to read more about Joan Didion, and I will come back and report to you whenever that happens. But if you've read this book, I would like to hear what you thought about it, how you feel about it. Were you, because I wasn't interested, like, the third section, I'm not interested in, like, travel memoirs or travel writing. It's not my thing. I don't like to travel, which I know is blasphemy, because I know there are people who just, like, live to travel and experience things. And I don't think I'm selling myself short or not experiencing things by not loving to travel. I'm just a homebody. I prefer to stay at home. I like staying at home. I like feeling, I don't like going outside of my comfort zone. I just don't. And so basically, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling on about this book because I have to talk about it and I need somebody to talk about it with. So please tell me your thoughts on this book if you've read it, or if you've read anything else by Joan Didion. Please feel free to share that as well. This is like the most rambling, nonsensical video ever in the history of ever. And I just need to talk about this book. That's all I got today. Thanks, guys. Bye.